SIAI 이탈리아 항공산업의 선구자. 이건 뭐 어떻게 읽는 거는 영상에 나오겠죠. 이탈리아 군용 항공사업의 선구자 중 하나입니다. 세계대전 당시 이탈리아는 각종 기록을 보유한 첨단 기체들을 개발해냈습니다. 자, 그 중에서 본 기체는 스페인 내전, 에티오피아 전역, 2차 대전에서 크게 활약했던 폭격기입니다. 저걸 어떻게 읽는지 한번 영상 안에 들어서 확인해 봅시다. 렛츠고. 자, 폭격기 같아요.
Italy is one of the pioneering nations in military aviation. During the World Wars, it introduced several cutting-edge developments and set an impressive number of sporting records. The legendary bombers of the Savoia Marchetti brand proved themselves in combat during the Spanish Civil War, the Ethiopian campaign, and of course, World War II. The story of CIE Marchetti, one of Italy's oldest aircraft manufacturers, began in 1915. In the early days of aviation, the Italian Air Force relied on seaplanes and aircraft capable of striking both naval and ground targets with equal effectiveness. The early SM models, resembling modified boats, were built to fit this role. However, in the 1930s, on the eve of another global conflict, the company shifted its focus to land-based aviation. Specifically,
이탈리아 프로기들은 은근히 좋습니다. 네, 인정.
By the start of World War II, Italy's Air Force had an aura of prestige, bolstered by outstanding sporting achievements.
뛰어난 스포츠
Yet
업적을
of the more
바탕으로
than
명성을
3,000
날렸다.
aircraft it possessed, barely 2,000 were combat ready. And of those, fewer than 200 were modern fighters like the Fiat G50 and Mach-E MC200. Due to a combination of economic and political factors, Italy's military aviation industry lagged significantly behind its competitors. Nevertheless, the Italian Air Force still had some truly outstanding aircraft at their disposal. One example was the Savoia Marchetti SM-79 Sparviero. By 1939, more than 600 of these were in service. By that time, the Sparviero, meaning sparrowhawk in Italian, had already proven its combat effectiveness during the Spanish Civil War. Originally based on a civilian aircraft, the three-engine SM-79 entered military service in 1934. Its impressive top speed of 450 kilometers an hour shaped its final design. It was assumed that the bomber would rarely face head-on engagements, so only one of its 5 Breda Safat machine guns was mounted in the nose, and the aircraft lacked defensive turrets. Agile and capable of emergency water landing thanks to its lightweight wooden construction, the Sparviero proved its worth in a daring 1943 raid on Allied naval forces at Gibraltar. Variants such as the SM-79-2 and SM-79-3 were later developed, serving effectively as torpedo bombers. Savoia Marchetti also produced other noteworthy designs, such as the S-81, developed from a commercial airliner. It saw action in both the Spanish Civil War and World War II, and even returned to civilian use afterward. The S-81 featured 3 engines and superior defensive armament compared to its predecessor. Its more spacious fuselage allowed it to carry up to 2 tons of bombs on short-range missions. Due to its vulnerability and relatively low speed, it was mostly used in night operations, where it successfully completed many missions across North Africa. The SM-91, by contrast, was designed from the ground up for military needs, a heavy twin-boom fighter, and one of the few all-metal aircraft from Savoia Marchetti. Its versatility allowed it to serve as a long-range escort fighter, bomber, or ground attack aircraft. It was armed with 7 MG-151 cannons, one of them mounted in a remotely operated turret, and could carry up to 600 kilograms of bombs. As it also had an impressive range of up to 1,600 kilometers, this formidable vehicle had the potential to be a true menace on the battlefield. Unfortunately, Italy never got the chance to test it in action. The prototype, powered by twin 12-cylinder DB605A1 engines, took its first flight in 1943, but never entered mass production. Both completed prototypes were lost during the war.
그리고 전쟁 중에 사라졌다.
The final combat aircraft developed by CIE Marchetti was the
자, 이게 그거죠.
SM-92,
좀 상스택
a
느낌 나는
close relative of the SM-91.
조금
It
전에
shared
했던
the same
P38
engines
느낌이라.
but featured a lighter airframe and even more guns. 3 20mm MG-151 cannons and 5 Breda Safat 12.7mm machine guns. Its bomb load was also increased. The only prototype took flight in 1943, but just 6 months later, it was mistaken for a P-38 Lightning and nearly shot down. Though it managed to land with heavy damage, the aircraft was ultimately lost in a
P38인
subsequent
줄 알고
bombing.
맞았다가 그 추락될 뻔했다가 뭐
In the final
잃어버렸단
years of the
말이에요.
war, Allied forces took control of the CIA Marchetti factories, marking the end of the
아무튼
company's
이탈리아
legendary era.
프로끼들은 타고 나름
Though
매력은
most of its
있어요.
history unfolded during
근데
the
그
most
이유가
turbulent decades of the
없으니까
20th
타고
century,
있으면 좀
the
허무하게
SM
나죠.
aircraft left their mark both in
전체적인
civilian
느낌이 뭐
aviation
화력이
and on the
어마무시해요.
battlefield,
화력이.
setting world records
예,
and seeing
기총이나
action
휘행
on two
탄수가 109
continents.
느낌 비슷한데 109보다 좀 많아. 그런 느낌. 끝.